Yo, what's good YouTube? This is EduEDU, and we're just gonna be continuing in part 2 from the last video. We did the register in the last video, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to do a login. So this is just an outline for a previous project that I made. I'm just showing you guys the login system, a simple login system. So basically we're using Parse, and inside there we're gonna be assigning two new constants over here that are gonna be using useStates and setting state actions, and as well as just passing over here a string that we're going to pass over here to the login value. So basically we're assigning these to make new inputs. So the new inputs are going to be dynamically. So basically the dynamic inputs are going to get the username and password, and they're going to log in utilizing this async function that I made before with a try and catch over here. Alright, and then we're just gonna be mapping over the login form, as you can see over here. We are gonna be mapping over the login form, and basically we're mapping over the login form here to check out if the current user is not if it's like there is no user logged in, it's gonna show the login form. But if not, basically it's not going to show this form. So if we have a user that goes to the URL of login, it's not going to show the login. He has to go to the home page and log out. Alright, so after explaining this, let's get to the coding. Alright, so just today I'm going to be using some artwork. It's open source, but I'm just referencing these artists over here. They have a website over here. It's called Undraw, so you can check out their savage elements over here. That it's like beautiful. It's pretty beautiful as well. So you could just get these savage elements over here and just change the color to your website, like whatever color you want to. Just match it to your website, and that is pretty much it. Alright, so let's also go to the documentation of Back4app, and let's start actually coding the login page. Alright, so I'm just gonna go and start my application using Ionic Serve. So I'm just gonna let it start just for a moment. And while it's doing that, let me start designing the login page, okay? So we're gonna do Ion page, and we're gonna do Ion content, and let me check something. We can also do a header container just to uh, like not keep repeating the same code over and over. So Ion content, and this we're gonna make this full screen. Let's think about it for a second. We wanna make the login page basically. Uh, First of all, we wanna just redirect the user itself to the login page. So we're gonna do that. Just go into app.tsx and just change over here this redirect to login. Alright, so if we just go into localhost 8100, it's gonna go to login. And right now we don't have anything on login, so we're just gonna add in test123. So here it is. This is the login page. Alright, so let's basically add in the header right now. We don't want to keep on repeating the same thing, so we're just going to get the header we have written before in the register. Alright, and we're just going to add this into login, and we're just gonna import this. Import this. Can we update all of them? All right, and just import this, and we're gonna change it into login. All right, so right now we have login, and let's start just adding in what we need to add. We need to add just three things. Let's think about it. We need to add in an input form on input, and another input for the one for the username and one for the password. So input username and input password. So basically we could just do that by doing ion input, and we're gonna copy this 2 times. Just do it one more time and just import this, and we're just gonna change the placeholder. First one is gonna be username, or we could say enter username here. We could also add over here the password. Placeholder is gonna be enter password here. And one last thing, make sure to add in the type over here to be text, and for the password to be password. Let me show you why. Because over here right now we have the password showing like this. We don't want the user to just see the password while they're entering, because it's a password. So we're just gonna do type equals to password. Alright, and as you can see right now, the input is hidden. So we also wanna add in just a simple grid system, so we're just gonna do that, and we're gonna add in the ion row, and then we're gonna add in 2 ion columns. We can actually add 3 because of the button as well. So we're just gonna copy and paste this 3 times, import the ion column, and we're just gonna put in the input in the first column and over here as well. And we could make this very simple, just make the columns to be size of 12, and you can also do something like size large equals to 6. So on bigger screen it will take half the page, not all of the page, so it does not look ugly. And let's do this also for the 3 other columns. Alright, and just add a button over here, and inside that button we're just gonna add in login. Alright, let's make this also expand equals to block, make the colors equal to success. Alright, so that's looking better now. As you can see, they're a little bit spaced out now, and the button is looking like a login button. It's green and it's using the Ionic CSS3. So let's start also adding in, um, we can just take the styles we did in the register for the inputs. So we could just take the class name we did before. We're just gonna do class name of ion input and class name of ion input. And as you can see over here, Right now we have the uh, login doing the hover effect because we did that in the login page previously. We just took the styles, just added the class name over here. You could do different styling if you want to in login.css, but we're not going to do that for now to save time as much as I can for you guys. Alright, so I'm just going to add in an image over here. We want to add in a login image. And by the way, this is something called Cloudinary. It's just a cloud delivery network that is basically going to deliver your images faster, and it's going to give you like a better management system for your images. So let's just do that and add the image on over here, okay? So we just want to add another column and make that also. Alright, let's just copy the link over here just first. Make an image. We want a normal image, or what is this image? Yep, we're just gonna use a normal image. Is there an Ion image? Let me just check that. I don't think there is one. There is not, or there is actually. Here it is. We're just gonna give it the source of the link we just got from Cloudinary. So I'm just gonna copy this over here. And I'm also gonna add in another one, but that is gonna be at the bottom. Or no, actually it's just gonna be afterwards over here. And I'm just gonna change the link for this icon over here, okay? It's just an animated savage icon that is made by Loaf. Loaf is just a animated software program. Like basically you could make animated savages. Loaf animated savages. So it's basically like a savage animation library, and there's a program which basically could do uh, animated savages like this one, and as you can see this one. So basically it's pretty beautiful, and it's pretty fast as well. It does make your code pretty efficient. So let's go into the Ionic application and just save that. Alright, right now, so as you can see we have the images over here, but we don't want the images to be uh, we don't want the images to be like this. We want this to be over here, and we also want this to be over here. So we just need to fix our grid system. So we're just gonna make the size equal to 12, size large equals to 6, and size medium equals to 8, for example. So as you can see over here on mobile, we have the image on top, but we want this icon to be just like a smaller width and height. So let's try and do that over here. That is not possible, so I think we could do either the width over here, or we could just add in a class name. We could add a class name of login um, animated arrow button, for example. And we just wanna put that over here in the login.css, and just give it a width of 150 pixels, for example. So as you can see, and then we're gonna give it justify content center. We're gonna give it also a rate of 50%, or actually, sorry, left of 50%. Alright, and align items center. Alright, so it's looking a little bit better as you can see right now. We just want this username and password to show on here instead of these images. Alright, so let's do that also. Go into the login page and let's just think about it for a moment. We need to remove this for now, just think about it. So it works right now, but this is dropping over here, so there's something that I'm missing, but for now I think we can just keep it over here for mobile, and I think that is pretty good. That's not bad at all, but we just want these to be over here, so we could do that and just keep these a width. Alright, let's think about it for a moment. We could do, alright, so this one we just need to give the image over here, the column over here, a size of 12, and also give it the size large of just 6, and size medium equals to 4. Alright, let's check that out now. Alright, so it does look still the same, but on medium device is going to be different, so as you can see, so it looks better now. And we want to do one last thing, which is basically just removing this text over here. Alright, so this does not look bad at all actually, but I want this to be in the middle, just to be aligned center. So let's try and give it the class name of Ion Text Center. Let's check that out. If it does that work? That did not work. So that's fine. So let's just keep the icon like this for now. Let's keep it in mobile view. You can fix the desktop view if you like to. You can actually make this just into the size large into this button to make it 12, for example. And we can also make this size large to be like, alright, let's fix this. Let's just make this at 4, make this at 2, and make these size large at 6. Let's also make these at 4. And one last thing, this size large to be 12. Let's check how that looks now. Alright, so I think I just need to fix it on large. Like on large I'm a little bit messed up. So in large we have 4, and then 2, that is 6, and then another 4, that is 8, and then another 4, that is 12. That's why it's showing up 3 like this. As you can see, like that's why it's showing like this. So we want this to take 6, and we want these two to take 6. So let's remove the arrow button over here and just keep it down here for now. Alright, and let's make these size and large to be 6, and this to be 3, and this one to be 3. Let's check out how it looks now. Alright, so now it looks a little bit better, as you can see. And we just want to add in the login button over here. So we're gonna do that. We're just gonna give this uh, button a size of 6 and an ion column of also this one. Let's give it a size large of 6. Alright, so as you can see right now we have the username and login on the right on large devices. On small devices it's like this, and on medium devices it also looks pretty good, but we can fill the spaces later. You can fix that on your own, like in the GUI. Just know that it's using a grid system and a flexbox. Alright, so that looks, I think, fairly good for a login page. So right now we could just start adding the functionality for the page itself. Alright, so let's just format the document and let's think about it for a second. I explained it in the beginning of the video, but we're just gonna go in and start writing the code. Okay, so we need to import two things from React. It's gonna be the useState hook and the useEffect hook. Alright, let's create two new consts. That is gonna be email and set email, and then open up useState and this. And by the way, again guys, what I'm using for helping me just like get the pattern of the code that I'm writing, it's called Tab9. It's an AI system. It's basically like a GitHub Copilot. So basically it just helps you to write the code faster. So like if I do const, it's gonna just figure out that I want to write the password, as you can see over here. Use state and then just an empty string. Okay, so right now we're not passing through anything. We just need to check out the documentation for the Back4app, because we're gonna pass something to this. We want to pass the information over here first. We want to get the inputs dynamically like we did in the register page before with the on change over here. So let's just copy this over here and put it into this input and put it into this input over here. We're gonna set this to set email and set password. That is the difference between the login page and the register page. It's basically just the same. And what else have we done before? This is the async function. We're gonna rewrite this, but I just want to show you if we're getting the user input right now. Okay, so we're just gonna go into the web developer tools and just console.log right now, set email and set password. So let's see what that is gonna do. That is just gonna show you that it is dispatching the action, but right now we're not passing anything to the input itself because we did not add something called the value. So for the email, basically we're just gonna add in the email we mentioned over here, which is basically the string that's gonna be passed in the value of this dispatch action. And we're just gonna get the password over here and also put the value over here to be password. Okay, and let's remove this console.log. Let's add in console.log. Let me remove this comment. And email, we could also do this. Email is, and we could do also password is, just to check out the inputs of the user if they're passing or not. Alright, so let's try to do that, and as you could see, it is working, and in the password it is working as well. So we're just done doing that. We're just gonna do right now an async arrow function that is basically gonna get the I'm sorry, it's not gonna get anything. It's gonna basically handle the register, the login for the user over here. Alright, so we're gonna do over here just a comment. So async arrow function to handle login request from API. You don't have to make it this long. I'm just making it this long. It's not actually preferred to do a name this long for like a project, but you could just make it like handle login. But I'm just making it like this for you guys to explain what we're doing. We're just getting, we're handling the login request from the API. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting the values over here for the email and the password, and then we're going to send that to the Back4app to verify if there is a user or not. And if there is a user, it's going to log us into the application. If not, it's going to give us like an error or a message that's saying that the user has not been logged in. Alright, so let's start by writing in the arrow function. So we're just going to do an async and function. We could just do async arrow function as well, but we're just going to do an async function for now. And we're just going to name this, what do we want to name? We can make it just handle login async function, and just handle login. Alright, async function. Alright, so there is something that I'm missing right now, and basically it's not it's the const. We just want to do a const and async function. Alright, and we just want to add this over here. So handle const handle login. That was what was missing. Basically, I just want to add in a const over here, so we could be we were like we should, how can I explain this? Basically, we're just assigning a const to this value over here, to whatever name we want to, and we just want to pass it to the button again, like I said, to connect to the API and just communicate the input of the user over here. So we just want to add in the button over here on click, and we're just gonna no, we don't want to do this. We just want to handle login, and that is pretty much it. So we just want to do on click handle login. So if we do in on handle login, do a console.log adding functionality for login now, and we refresh the page. So if we press login, as you can see, it is basically just doing console.log uh, that we just did over here. So basically that's why I assigned this const over here, so we're able to do something with the button. Alright, so right now we want to go into the Parse Back4app to do documentation. So if we do Google over here, Parse to do Back4app docs, and basically go into the user API. We want to go into the login over here, So basically the login is very simple. It's just an async arrow function over here that is just trying the parse.user, and the inputs over here basically that we already did. And again, it's doing a catch if there is an error. So we're just gonna do that. So first off, we're gonna let the user to be parse. And alright, we need just to import parse. So we're gonna do that. Const parse equals to require parse. And right now we can write the function because we imported parse. So let user, it is gonna be parse dot user, and we're gonna await the parse dot user dot login, and inside there we're just gonna put an email and password because we already got the values over here. Okay, so what is the error? I think it's parse dot user dot login, or what is happening. So I think right now we could just do this. Yep. And we also wanna what? We wanna right now add in the try and catch. So try, and there is an error because we just need to catch the error. We just need to add the catch. There was an error because we just need to add the catch, basically. So the syntax was wrong, and we just need to add in the error over here. So we could console, or actually let's do an alert and just do error has been found, and do plus and just error. Alright, so what else? I think that is pretty much it. Let's try and do that actually. So let's do one last thing. Let's add in a link down here. Basically, if the user is not registered, we could just make the user register, uh, and that is what I'm gonna do right now because I basically forgot the credentials from the last video. I just made some test credentials, so I'm gonna make just some any new credentials. So we're just gonna add in IonLink over here. I think it's called an Ion router link, or yep, this is the one because we're doing an href to register. And let me just add in here some text that is gonna be don't have an account register, don't have an account register now, and we could do ion text and just add in the link over here and just make the register to be the link, and we're just gonna import this one and just save. And that is pretty much it. Right now we're in the register page. So let's just add in also an image to the register page quickly because I don't think it looks the best it can be. So we're just gonna do another ion column, and inside there we're gonna give it a size of 12, and we're just gonna get an image over here. Alright, so we want to get for the register, so I'm just gonna get the page over here, this image over here, and I'm just gonna add in an ion image, with the source of the link for the image that I just added, okay? And I'm just gonna go back to my application, and right now it looks a little bit more better like a register form. Let's start a registering, so we're just gonna do test and test register and test register at email.com, and password is gonna be anything simple just to remind myself. Alright, so what is happening right now? Register. Parse user is not a constructor. So let's just check out what I have missing in the register. I think I just need to refresh the application. So let's do that again. Test username. Test123 at email.com. Give it a small password. Alright. So yeah, actually we just don't have any like message for the register. We could just do alert user or no alert. User has registered successfully. Alright. So let's try and log in right now. Let's go back to the login page and 6, 7, I think. Alright, so it's just giving us a type error right now. So I think we just need to mention any. Let's go into the login.typescript and let me just remove this console.log. Alright, let's also check out, you guys, the previous project and the documentation. If we get stuck, that is okay to just go back to the documentation and just check out what seems to be the issue. So one of the types is not mentioned. Basically that is what it's telling us. If we try to do over here again, so let's test123 at email.com and just the password. An error has been found. Parse.user.login is not a function. So I think there's just a small syntax error. Let me just refresh this. Alright. Go into the user API and then just the register over here. I'm sorry, the login. So what seems to be the issue? Right. You just need to console.log the user, and let's check out if there is a password, if there is a value that is passed to the user over here. Okay, so I think that is the small error over here, just this I over here, guys. That is why it's not working. The small I over here, because that is the syntax. That's why I always recommend using the documentation, because it is going to help you basically fix this. So let's go and try this one last time. I hope another error comes up, at least that the login credentials are wrong or something. Yep. So an error has been found, invalid username and password. So that means that the data is passed to the back end, but there is no user found. So I'm just gonna register a new one because I just forgot, honestly. I'm just gonna make name of user test and username test user email at email.com. Alright. And basically, we right now have the login for the user. So, alright, so right now we pass the data to the backend, basically